space, like add an extra quarter inch to the margins, like maybe go to 12 or even 13-point font. You can make this happen.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys, if ever you were punished in school, have to write sentences?
I think I had
never,
to do that
like
once.
over and over on the whiteboard.
Not on the whiteboard. Well,
Just
that's where it kind of started. But
I think I had to do it on like notebook paper.
Yeah, I had to do it
if
on
I remember.
notebook paper.
And
I would try and like slip in things that I didn't think that they'd catch. Like Mr. Wolf is a dick. They'd always catch it.
They'd always find it.
They'd always catch it.
Do you remember your infraction?
No. There were so many. I'm not kidding.
This was a frequent occurrence.
Yeah, it kind of was.
Man,
it's I don't know. I got in a fight in the 4th grade, I think. It was a 2-on-2 rumble.
Tag team.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. It was, yes, exactly. And,
the lingo.
For punishment, they made us clean up the kitchen at school. Like every lunch period,
Like in the cafeteria?
we would eat and then have to go into the cafeteria and do some like rudimentary things in there.
That's terrible.
And it was me and one of the kids I got in the fight with.
of course they're going to make you work together so you can make amends and learn something about cooperation.
Wash knives next to each other.
So it worked out great because we became friends.
Right.
We bonded over the act of fucking subtly destroying this fucking elementary school's kitchen.
That's great.
Of just like, oh, well, let's put flour in the phone that's here. We can crack open the receiver on this phone and just pack it full of flour because fuck them. Let's pour all this stuff down the sink because fuck them. Oh, look at all this milk. It's probably still good. Let's pour it on the floor. That'll be cool. All right, let's go.
That doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to trace back to the culprits, though.
They never once came to us over any of it.
Yeah. All right.
They're like, well, at least
Well,
they're
it was the
getting
perfect
along.
crime then.
Yeah, and
That's
we were
really
friends.
effective,
We were
man.
friends for a while, and then he moved away. So
Oh.
yeah, well, that's how it goes.
You don't keep in touch?
No.
Remember that time?
Yeah, no, I have not heard from that dude.
No, they would just send me to like, in-school suspension or, out-of-school suspension or whatever. And I'm like, cool. All right, whatever.
One time I got suspended from school for not going to school. Like they rewarded my fucking not going to school with don't come to school
suspension.
And I'm like, this is great. This is fucking perfect. Eventually, they made me like do like a 4-hour stint on a Saturday.
Oh, really?
And I think that's when they were.
Those were bad. Yeah.
They were still making kids pick up garbage then.
God damn.
I think they have since. I think school got soft, where they were like, that's technically labor and it's unpaid child labor. You can't do that.
I think they're so dirty around here all the time.
Right? Yeah, exactly. If we just get some damn kids to pick this shit up.
Did you guys have ISS in high school?
Is that in school suspension?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is that like they take you out of class and you have to sit somewhere?
Yeah.
So that's like
the
level before out of school suspension.
Yes.
And I loved the out of school suspension. So they started giving me more in school suspensions because
makes sense.
They could keep tabs on me. I'm like, you sons of bitches.
Bunch of hellraisers in this room.
Well, I got to a point in high school at some point where like I don't know, I read it somewhere or like determined that schools got paid based on attendance, and the last thing I wanted was them to make money off of me. So it was like a really good justification for me to just fucking stop going to school. And also I didn't want to go talk to a counselor or have to like confront a teacher over shit. So there were a couple of classes I just stopped going to.
I gamed the system one year, and I went into, I think it was like a course class or something like that. And it's like, oh, my class schedule got switched. I've actually got homeroom this hour. So like at the third period, like I had nothing to do. So the course was never like taking attendance for me because they didn't think I was supposed to be there. But I just went off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Stay in school, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a bastard.
Get an education.
Yeah.
More importantly, like however you need to get it.
I kind of went the other way. My grades were good enough that the last semester of high school I just didn't have to go to.
That's actually what ended up happening.
I had enough credits that I didn't have to go for the last whatever the last semester was, 4 months, 5 months. But,
I totally turned my ass around.
Yeah.
And actually tested out of high school like a year early.
That's the way to go. Also, the journalism class, I was part of the school newspaper senior year.
A huge scam.
Which meant that I think we did it once a month, which meant that basically 29 or 20 days out of the month, you did fuck all. And then spent one day just frantically putting a newspaper together.
That's actually that's really good experience for working at a print magazine.
Yeah, totally. We brought somebody brought their brand new Nintendo 64 to that class a few times.
Awesome.
We sat on the floor playing Risk a lot.
Okay.
And then
team building.
Like once a month we would bang out a newspaper.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad Dan's not here because whenever the conversation drifts in this direction, he always talks about how he did nothing but got everything.
Yeah.
In school. I don't. Yeah.
I ended up bending things to my benefit in the end, where like all the not going to school stuff ended up paying off okay. Because we started doing public access, me and my friend Glenn, and didn't want to go to school because we wanted to work on our bad public access show, and it was bad. And then it just ended up that they were like, "Hey, you seem to have stopped showing up to all your classes. That's bad." And then eventually they said, "We have got a pilot program." I've probably told this story before, but I ended up on some pilot program for independent study, which has primarily been for. It was a lot of like pregnant high school aged girls were on independent study because they had things they needed to do that precluded them from going to regular class. And they said, well, why don't we take these two assholes and put them in that so they're not here? Yep. So it was at the continuation high school, but it wasn't part of the continuation high school technically. So it was like I ended up like doing a year's worth. Like they were like, well, let's get you graduated. You're doing stuff like I was going to gaming trade shows at that point and weird stuff. So they were like, let's give you 10 credits in video production because you're doing a TV show. I'm like, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, sounds good to me. And they asked me like write down what you did to produce this. And I wrote it down and they said, great, that's 5 credits. Now do this. And so they ended up just cobbling a bunch of stuff together and I ended up graduating early because of that with like some GPA that was higher than 4.
Wow.
And sounds like a pretty good deal if you can get it.
It worked out. It worked out really well.
Yeah.
And I got to go back to school and find the one teacher I liked, a math teacher, and show him my diploma. And he cursed.
Out of disbelief? Or
he was like, you fucking beat him, Gerstmann. I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, I got to go.
And then he put on his trench coat and walked out the door.
He actually straight up retired.
Wow. Nice.
So that was his final year.
You revealed the entire system to be a lie.
Exactly. I exposed it and said I went and
he couldn't take it.
Threw up his hands.
I went and learned more on my own than this school. Anyway.
Don't say that out loud. That's dangerous ideas that you're...
I went to every class.
Yeah, I did too, basically, except for the ones I didn't have to. We were...
I mean, that's a shit. We
were good and obedient.
Gate classes did me really wrong in the end, is how that worked. Like the gifted classes and honors classes and all that sort of stuff, where it was like, hey, take marine biology. You're a 5th grader. And then when I got to junior high and it was like, no, do math. And I was like, I already fucking know this because I learned it 4 years ago in this other class. So like I had this chip on my shoulder about like repeating stuff that I already knew. And it like all the advanced classes I took through elementary school actually super fucked me over. When I got to junior high, because that's
like the opposite of me. Yeah. I started at a deficit. Like when I came to 6th grade, I didn't know division.
Okay, you see, I learned long division in kindergarten.
Yeah,
as part of some Montessori school or something, and then I went to public school after that, and it was just like I was just pissed at how dumb all the classes were.
I was pissed at how dumb I was.
System failed you.
Why didn't you idiots teach me this?
Yeah, it's just.
I made it up though.
And I did too. It all works out in the end, I guess.
Sure. Indeed.
It should.
Yes. In theory. That's the idea. I don't know if you guys know this.